FM rocks.
Bula, I'm John from Cornabuanta. Bula, I love listening to the FM, it rocks.
Bula, I'm Teopola.
Bula, I'm Magnisi.
We love listening to the FM because it rocks in Ba.
Bula, my name is Tisa. I've been listening to Today FM.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Tonight, Fiji qualifies for Wellington Sevens Cup quarterfinals. Renovated QVS school buildings open. And tourism contributes 30% towards GDP.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Rita Priyadarshini.
The Vodafone Fiji Sevens side will play New Zealand in the second Cup quarter-final of the Wellington Sevens. Fiji finished second in its pool and will face the host at 12 p.m. tomorrow. In other quarterfinals, England plays Scotland, South Africa takes on France, while Canada plays Argentina. The Fiji Sevens side made a good start to the Wellington tournament with 2 wins, but were tamed by series leader South Africa in their last pool match. The Gareth Baber coach side will need to go back to the drawing board tonight before they enter the knockout competition tomorrow. Rohit Deo reports.
For gold, silver.
It was always going to be a tough start to the tournament, meeting Australia in the opening pool match. Trailing 12-5 at the break, Fiji managed to pull through 26-12.
Their strike rate is so good. And there's a poor tackle and straight through again. And
Australia has been a very tough opponent for us in the years. And it took us a teamwork to beat the hardest Wellington.
Beautiful!
Next up was Japan. The Fiji side scored 8 tries to none for an impressive 56-0 win.
They're not going to get there.
Big effort of ours is to make sure that we're trying to stop the opposition from scoring and building momentum, and we manage it in that game.
High tackle, taken quickly, and Cock will go over. There's another high shot.
The match against South Africa was always going to be close. Our opponents ran to an early 17-0 lead, but Nipi Jerry Tuai replied before halftime to close the gap to 17-7 at the break.
Fiji strike back. Fend. Viramalua spots a little hole, carrying the ball in one hand like it's a loaf of bread, pops it over the top to Lutumailangi. They're coming in again.
Fiji started the second half well with a try to Tsoeli Lutumailangi, but the Africans proved too strong, winning the match at 31-12.
The speculative pass has backfired, and South Africa get a...
Fiji finished second in their pool and have a short turnaround before the quarterfinals tomorrow. They will have to step up a level if they are to win in a ground where we haven't tasted victory in 7 years. Rohit Deo, FBC News.
More than 800 students of the Queen Victoria School in Tailevu will now have better studying facilities. While opening the revamped school today, Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama said students can now return to their classes and put the effects of Tropical Cyclone Winston in the past. Kelly Vadala reports.
The long wait for these students is finally over. They will now resume normal classes from Monday and not miss out on the 2017 academic year.
We have had to rebuild the school from scratch with the help of our Indonesian friends. It has been a huge task, as rebuilding any of our schools can pose complex challenges. As you also know, we have had some problems with the kitchen, but these have now been fixed.
The school was badly damaged by TC Winston last year, and the Indonesian government stepped in to rebuild it. The students have welcomed the new facilities, saying they feel at home.
Last year I don't feel like going to school, starting from when the school was damaged. Great to see the new Queen Victoria again.
It will help us in our education.
Parents were also thrilled to send their children back to QVS, as many students were temporarily put into other schools.
Rebuilding and reopening of the school, they will shine much brighter.
Because they've lost a year, especially when they've been to other schools.
These are the future leaders of Fiji.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says his government has begun rebuilding 47 schools in the country that were damaged by Tropical Cyclone Winston, with plans to begin construction on 56 others soon. Kelly Vanara, FBC News.
The tourism industry contributed 30% to the country's gross domestic product last year. 792,000 visitors came to Fiji, a 5% increase when compared to 2015. Ellen Stoltz reports.
Tourism industry stakeholders say 2015 was a record year for Fiji, but 2016 has been a challenging one despite an increase in visitor arrivals.
Total visitor arrivals was growing, so we were heading for a tremendous record year again, and then of course we had Cyclone Winston that had a massive impact, reversing the arrival figures out of Australia. And so I think we're looking probably this year at about 4 to 5%.
Whittam adds that when it comes to tourism, Fiji is at a huge advantage as we have naturally warm and friendly people. But this year, the main obstacle is to attract more visitors from Australia.
So I think the plan for this year, at least from, I know that Rosie Holidays and lined up with Tourism Fiji, our national airline and our hotel partners, is we have to get Australia turned around, a very, very big focus on that. We have to keep New Zealand growing because that's a tremendous performance out of that. And then we have to really just keep the US market growing with extra frequencies that are being mounted into USA, get UK, Europe, and of course these emerging markets of China and India we've got to keep focusing.
At the heart of tourism is its people, and Tourism Fiji Chief Executive Officer Matthew Stockdale rewarded 4 staff last night at the Fijian Hosts Awards in Nadi.
The importance of service and the value it can create for businesses. And he also, and importantly, shared that improving service requires constant improvement.
The government has created a vision of a $2.2 billion tourism industry by 2021. And the focus is to improve quality and not only focus on quantity. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
A virgin coconut oil processing facility was commissioned by the Agriculture Minister Iniaseri Ratu in Savu yesterday. Eleanor Turangaivu reports the investment has been highly praised by government as it falls in line with efforts to revive and restore the coconut industry.
This $0.5 million virgin coconut oil processing plant located at Mbalanga Bay in Savu has the capacity to produce 200 liters of virgin coconut oil in a day.
Currently we are producing around 80 to 90 liters per day with some adjustments to be done here and there. VCO, as we all know, like I said, is a high premium. It can be used in the food industry, in medicines, and even the beauty products.
In addition, products from this facility are expected to enter the different levels of markets that exist, which includes Pure Fiji for virgin coconut oil, hotels for handicraft, and niche outlets that can fetch higher returns. The mill started operating in September last year, and according to Minister for Agriculture Iniaseri Ratu, this investment by copra millers of Fiji is a step in the right direction.
The government is doing all it can to bring the coconut industry in Fiji back to its former status as a significant contributor to the economy in terms of exports and employment opportunities. To this end, government has put together a coconut task force to oversee the development and the growth of the industry, particularly here in the Northern Division.
25 locals currently work at the processing facility. It supplies virgin coconut oil to retailers in Vitilevu, with interests now received from overseas markets. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Still ahead, Fiji-China Friendship Pavilion opens. And North officers told to work diligently.
मेरा नाम कमल रोशनी है। हम लोगों में रहते हैं और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मेसी है, हम गोल्ड टाउन ताबुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन ताबुआ।
Hi, we Bagels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश ताबुआ में रहता हूँ, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची एफएम is very hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Welcome back. The famous Terry Walk now has a Fiji-China Friendship Pavilion, as today also marks the first day of the new Chinese year. The pavilion was officially opened by Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama. Pranita Prakash reports.
This new pavilion marks the 162nd anniversary of Chinese residence in Fiji and the enormous contribution towards nation building. Chinese ambassador to Fiji hopes the friendship between the two nations will strengthen further.
Being a public facility situated in the center of the Suva downtown area, the pavilion is for use by the general public. It will not only provide a place for pedestrians to sit and relax, it will also become a city landmark and a new tourist attraction to many people, particularly tourists from China.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama says the Chinese community have been a part of Fiji for the past 162 years.
This beautiful new space, open to all, stands as a monument to the enormous contribution our Chinese community has made to our development as a nation, and as the name suggests, to the strong bonds of friendship that Fiji and China have already shared.
Terry Walk and its surroundings is one of the busiest and the famous street in capital city. During the early years of Suva's history, Cumming Street and the surrounding areas of Renwick Road and Mark Street were occupied by a lot of Chinese shops. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Meanwhile, the celebrations for the Chinese New Year has begun, and a large number of students and parents gathered at the Fiji Museum in Suva today. The festivities, also known as the Spring Festival, is now being enjoyed by all in Fiji.
Authentic Chinese music filled the air as a dance group from China entertained the guests at the Fiji Museum today.
Especially by our young people. We are so in tune with modern technology and attraction, and we fail to realize that we are losing touch with our cultural ideals and practices. Our Chinese brothers and sisters have paved the way for us.
Deputy Chief of Commission at the Chinese Embassy says such celebrations help create a bond between people with different ethnic backgrounds.
We believe that such people-to-people exchange help us raise above any differences in history, culture, and social system, and to bring about understanding and respect.
The breathtaking performance by Sanya's Sunbird dance group left many students stunned.
We learned a lot of new things today, new ideas, and also it was enjoying, especially the items were enjoyable. So it was a great day experiencing a new culture.
It was a great performance, something new that I've never seen before, and yeah, they're great in their performance.
It was good because we learned their cultures and their performance. It was a great and good performance.
New Year is the most important traditional festival in China. On the New Year's Day, the entire family eats sweet dumplings, signifying their reunion. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Police officers in the Northern Division have been urged to perform their duties diligently. New Divisional Police Commander Northern Virani Nakauyada made the plea at the first quarter parade for the officers in Lambasa yesterday. Eleanor Turangaivu reports.
The Northern Division has so far this year recorded 5 complaints against police services and against police officers.
And I do not wish to prefer this number to increase. So perform your duties vigilantly and be wary of the circumstances of discipline to you, your family, and to the organization.
Newly appointed DPC North Virani Nakauyava says out of the 8 KPIs, police in the north were not able to achieve 2, namely reducing detection rate by 70% and reducing road fatality by 30%.
I must assure you that the road to success is never easy. The road to success is never easy. It is achievable through determination, dedication, and perseverance.
The officers were also urged to be physically fit, as it is a requirement in the Fiji police force. Close to 100 police officers from all over Nolevu gathered at Subrail Park for the parade yesterday. Eleanor Turangaibu, FBC News.
Britain's Queen Elizabeth II yesterday visited an art exhibition about Fiji in the English town of Norwich. The 90-year-old monarch was shown In sports after the break, Nemani Nangusa suspended and is out of Wellington Sevens. And Fiji football team breaks camp after 2 weeks. This and more coming up.
Na yavangunga andi moala rarara ranalika o tikongona taunu singatoka ando talisaka na vakaronga na Bula FM number 2 na serre
ya dora chubuni kurna bili ibora ni batukara hambara binaranga do talitakina na vakaronga na Bula FM number 2 na serre
Bula FM number 2 na serre.
The Vodafone Fiji Sevens side lost its last pool match to South Africa today, but a place in the quarterfinal means our chances of winning the tournament is still alive. The Osea Kolonisau captain side will face crowd favourites New Zealand, and his team knows how difficult it is to beat the Kiwis on home soil. Rohit Deo reports.
The throw.
It will be a long night for the Fiji Sevens players as they wait for their quarterfinal match after a heartbreaking loss to South Africa. Nipi Jerry Tuai says the failure of not winning the first two tournaments is still haunting them.
We worked a lot back at home because of the two losses in Dubai and Cape Town. So we come and try and win our pool.
Coach Gareth Beba is aware of the huge expectation from the Fijian fans.
It was lovely. It's lovely coming in there, but there's a huge expectation that goes with it. My job is to try and match what has been done by Ben and the group before and keep Fiji rugby moving forward, especially through the sevens.
Despite the loss in the last pool match, fans were happy that Fiji has secured a spot in the last 8.
Yeah, they performed well, and I hope they win their next game. Go Fiji, go.
The performance was very well. If they can keep their performance, they would excel to another level since they are going against other teams in at other countries.
I think they're doing the best they can, and yeah, we can't wait for the rest of the game to finish.
What they can do on the Cup quarterfinals begin at 11:38 a.m. tomorrow. You can watch the tournament live on FBC TV. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Fiji Sevens forward Nemani Nangusa has been suspended for 6 matches. Nangusa was found guilty of contact with the eyes of an opponent in the match against Australia. The Nandronga captain has the right to appeal, but as it stands, he will be out of action from the Wellington Sevens. Well, the New Zealand Sevens side started their Wellington tournament on a high note, defeating Samoa 33-7. The home side had a point to prove, with former New Zealand coach Sir Gordon Tidgens joining the Pacific Island team from this year. New Zealand's new coach Scott Waldron says the players dealt with the emotions well.
I was more anxious about our guys sort of getting a little bit too emotional and sort of switching off, but I'm really pleased that they just went out there and played the way we wanted to play and just focused on that.
The Vodafone Fiji football team rounded its 2 weeks of camp with a friendly match against the Lautoka side. The Christophe Gamel side was held to a 1-1 draw, but the French coach is not concentrating too much on the results yet. Rohit Deo reports.
The 1-1 result does not hold much meaning for the new coach as he is fully concentrating on the World Cup Stage 3 qualifiers.
I don't care about, as I spoke already since the beginning, the results for me are not important. It's really the way we are improving, and these boys, they didn't play together before.
Gamel says the first match against New Zealand will not be easy and his team will need to last the entire 90 minutes.
When we will play against New Zealand, they will be very tired and they have to keep calm and develop our play.
For the Lautoka side, holding the national team to a draw will be an inspiration going into the Premier League competition from next weekend.
And I think we are doing in our right path. We are playing matches before the league games, which is good for us.
The national team will host New Zealand in the World Cup qualifier on the 25th of March. The return match will take place 3 days later in New Zealand. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The Rewa women's football team has taken out the Southern Division Vodafone Senior League competition as the side beat Suva 3-2 in the second last round today. In other matches today, Navua and Nasinu played to a 1-1 draw, while Tailevu Neitasiri thumped Lami 4-0. Meanwhile, Lambasa has won the Northern Division, while Ba is the Western Division winner. Labelled overweight, out of form and dropped from the Hurricane squad on several occasions last season, All Black winger Julian Savea has hit the ground running this year. The reconditioned bus is looking forward to a better rugby season in 2017. The Super Rugby season begins on the 23rd of next month, and you can watch selected matches live on FBC TV. Sydney FC came from behind to beat a 10-man Melbourne victory 2-1 in round 17 in the Hyundai A-League football competition. Meanwhile, Roy Krishna and his Wellington Phoenix side play Adelaide United tomorrow. Showers experienced over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands today. Fine weather prevailed elsewhere. The weather in the Western Division was hot. Temperatures in Nandi, Lautoka and Ba were in their lower 30s. Now eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, it was a fine day with temperatures rising to 31 degrees. Taking you to the north, and a very hot day for Lambasa as temperatures soared up to 33 degrees. Savu experienced few showers but remained hot at 31 degrees. Now tomorrow, fine apart from isolated brief showers of the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, afternoon or evening showers are expected. As for the further outlook, ahead onto Monday, fine apart from isolated afternoon and evening showers. Out at sea, moderate southeast winds with moderate seas. The next low tide is at 7 minutes past 2 tomorrow morning, and the high tide is at 7:52 a.m. Recapping the main stories. Fiji qualifies for Wellington Sevens Cup quarterfinals. Renovated QVS school buildings open. And tourism industry contributes 30% towards GDP. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. On to our poll question. This week we ask, can Fiji win the 2017 Wellington Sevens? To answer, visit our FBC website. Well, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, citizens@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News, and you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply #FBC News. Have a very good night.
We from Lautoka, we love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hola, my name is Kanto. I'm from Ba. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Mula Fiji, my name is Florence Ratu. I'm from Call Number 1 in Tavua, and I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits every day and all day.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm from the soccer crazy town of Ba. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.